We are live. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. What is happening here and what should you do? Both questions we will answer. How did this happen? Let's review. Centralized exchanges, upon the departure of meme regulators, list large cap meme coins of all kinds. This is, your Pepe, your BONK, your WIF, Chill Guy, Giga Chad, Goat, you name it. They list them all on centralized exchanges. Crypto goes up. People and normies flood in. What do? They buy what they can get their head wrapped around, which is the cute meme coin. Meanwhile, back at the hedge fund ranch, whales, hedge funds, large players who were holding these meme coins on decentralized exchanges where it can be hard to get, large amounts of liquidity to sell without being obvious. All these big players that basically haven't been able to sell to retail, sell to new people. Now, that's fine until you have an event like Powell comes out and apparently disappoints everybody. I wasn't disappointed, but apparently the market is freaking out. Okay. So you have an unforeseen-ish event. The dollar goes up. That was not on my bingo card, especially with a government shutdown. And then suddenly, people with these meme coins, they start to unload. Bitcoin goes because big players want to lean on that. So up top, who did you buy from? Smart money. Who's waiting for you at, 96, 90, whatever Bitcoin stops at? Who's waiting for you? Smart money. That's why these exchanges will give you all the leverage you want. Hey, you want to trade at 75x leverage? Come on in. Right? They unload on you at the top on low quality stuff. And then down on the bottom, they're standing there waiting for you. And frankly, they got lucky on this one. They, as in the institutions that needed to cover shorts and buy. They got lucky. What a surprise. I should have known. A little coordination from Jerome Powell and whack. Right? They got everybody's crypto. They're buying everything back. And the longer they make it last, the more discouraged people get. And you thought the bull market was easy. Now, in our member area, we did a podcast today, basically already got everybody set up with the sectors and the ideas of what you want to pick up when it gets smacked, whether that lasts one day or through the holiday. Okay? In other words, you have a thin holiday market, and it is unfortunately very clear that people want to sell and go home and have a holiday. They don't want to deal with crypto risk. And Powell gave them an excuse, and institutions want it down so they can grab everyone's crypto. So here we are. In the member area, we are like, ignore the noise. Okay. We have what's called Bitcoin Dominance BTC.D, right? That's the symbol. Now you have large cap meme coins getting wrecked and all the money going into fart coin, which is FART.D or farted. And that is where the crypto market is. And that alone is why it's down, because crypto has a habit of being so stupid, it blows itself up. Now, you're seeing coming up on the screen, a member area, 6th Street Crypto Podcast, coming up with everything you can't say here, right? YouTube member area already has the sector analysis and the coins that we want on the way down here. And then, of course, there's LuxAlgo, where we're going to be looking for coins in the discount zone. We'll talk more about that. And then there's my personal indicator, 40% off for the holidays with discount code NOBLE. All right. Elliott Wave, 5-wave top. How to know a correction is coming. This one was tricky. But you're still getting the correction. And at the end of the day, you look at this in January, everybody thinks January was sell the fact. It's kind of funny. It looks like they're doing it now. They don't want to take risks. They don't want to hold it into January. Major, major mistake, right? Like Cathie Wood could not sell Coinbase shares fast enough after Powell. Okay, maybe you want to take some profits and go home. Okay, I get that, but I thought she was supposed to be like the buy and hold investors, right? Like, it's funny how I have a Bitcoin target of at least $9 million as my bullish base case, but the second Powell doesn't cut rates to zero, I'm selling Coinbase stock. See what I'm saying? So people want to like unload the market. They're just like walking into a trap. They walked into the meme coin trap, and this was on nobody's bingo card, right? Like the only coin that retail didn't own, Fart Coin, goes up 40%, and everything else goes down 30%. Right? And again, bull markets do this. Even the guy from Zero Hedge, it is the first headline. So what can you do? Freak out, panic. You can manage risk. If you did a bad trade, you bought the top, you tax loss sell, you're done. That's it. You don't let your head get all screwed up. It happened to me, happens in small caps, happens in large caps. Manage risk. Then ignore the noise, right? If you're going to flush this out, I don't know. Everyone had a huge upside target. Now everyone's going to be like, well, it's got to go to 88. Okay. If it goes to 88, buy more. Not investment advice. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, wait for the darkest moment. Now, we could be streaming at the darkest moment because, Powell on a 2-day flush on a non-event, we're looking at members and we're looking at this one sector where stuff was down like 25% over the week. And a lot of it was down 15% today, right? So it's like, when an altcoin market gives you like 30, 50% off, if it lasts more than 2 days, this is a time to remain calm, not ignoring like a risk situation that you may need to adjust, but you want to be calm so that the hodler in you can jump in because you've been reading tweets for a week about all these people that hodled Bitcoin and did just fine over the long term. So if you let yourself get shaken out, whether it's 2 days or 10 days, you want to set your book up so you don't get shaken out. And you want to set it up where you can dive in because, there are sectors here that are just being completely ignored. Because today, as we speak, I don't know if this suppresses the stream or not, but I mean, literally the last 24 hours have been all about Fartcoin. Fartcoin got a huge amount of marketing from Legacy, right? Legacy was like, oh my God, this is the top in crypto because Fartcoin's worth $1 billion. Matter of fact, Legacy was like, this could be the intergalactic top of the known world and every risky asset and bond. It's like buy gold and canned goods and hide in a cave because of Fartcoin. Now, it is a little nauseating that sentiment from Legacy turned out to be correct. That can't make you upset, though. That can't get you off your game. Fartcoin gets you off your game. Bitcoin wicking lower, or any crypto wicking lower, which I don't know, that could happen in Asia tonight. Now, I don't want it for your P&L or mine, but I would actually like to see down, 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 big wick, because then they're trying to get you out. You know what I'm saying? Like, the lower it goes, the happier they are, because, Web3 is happening no matter what anybody says or does at the end of the year. Like, it is happening. Look at his spending bill. Just a case in point, right? They try to ram through 1,500 pages. The orange man gets a Goodfellas haircut. Elon gets on Twitter, and we're going to have a government shutdown. Now, of course, they're buying the dollar with reckless abandon, right? So we talk about that in the member area. We're like, hey, this has been created by the dollar, and once the dollar stops, watch out, okay? Watch out. Watch out. Now, let's welcome who's here. I think Santa is giving things out in the chat. Bull Runner, a loyal friend, first on the stream. Art, oh my goodness. Got some Marathon Digital from the Amsterdam airport on the night shift. Unbelievable. Bobby, today's Tech Bites. right? Live It 351, Banana and Berries, right? Become a member today, says today's Tech Bites. I had a nice podcast today, right, with a lot of really good ideas. Indie Rock Crypto, Joe Mike, Iman, Hans, a member. Welcome. Ron, welcome to the show. Okay, Bodine, the chiropractor is in the house. Hans with the sheepdog emoji. Some new emojis coming soon. Members increasing. Brick Dreams, welcome. Live It, right? Arena, Avalanche Airdrop, forget about it, is here. Bob, Quantum Guru with the green button. Lochez and OG in the house. Hello. Patriot Caveman, Storm and Norman, Crypto Pulse. Ron, hello. Hello. Right? Daniel, Digital Bobby, Chad Lacer, Kim, Bob M, G Stott, welcome. Right? I've been lobbing money at the stock market my whole life. I got into XRP at $1. My first crypto ever bought. People selling have zero patience. Oh my God, please put that on the screen. I mean, it's like, he must have been at our podcast earlier today, right? It's unbelievable. Like the whole thing goes down and now everybody was in a total state of despair yesterday. And today is bordering on panic. Now, retail bought the top in large memes. Everybody had to say something about memes. We tried certain things. Didn't work. Okay. Stick to Web3. Stick to the future of money, right? Dollar, euro, sterling, yen, Swiss franc, the majors, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and I'll go with Dogecoin. Money. Simple. Right? They're gonna cheapen up money because I guess they had to rally the dollar versus everything for whatever reason. Mind-blowing, not on my bingo card, but they have to do what they have to do. And who knows? That may be an effective weapon to stop Bitcoin from embarrassing them. I thought about that. I was like, those tricky. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, okay, let's go into foreign exchange market in thin holiday time because they're done in Europe, man. Europe is done, right? Foreign exchange is huge in Europe. Like, so there's no liquidity. So let's just take the dollar and moon it. Just moon it. Every central bank, moon the dollar. All of a sudden, Bitcoin goes, uh-oh. I didn't think of that, right? Like that was their pushback. It's like, oh, you want to devalue our currency? Okay, we'll push back. Can you blame them? All right, so we have to deal with it. That's all. Maybe we have to deal with it one day. Maybe we have to deal with it 3 days. The orange man takes his hand off the Bible and the venture capitalists step up to the podium. Okay, I have confidence that, Polkadot at 7 or Chainlink at 20 or 15 or wherever it stops, some of these things might be legendary buys. And for every day we sell here, right? So maybe we're done now. Maybe there's a wick later. I don't know. Of course, crypto Twitter will be filled with, well, now we have to go down to fill in the blank. That's fine. However many days it goes down makes the ensuing reversal bigger, which is why you don't want to get shaken out. And even if you have to manage risk, please don't get bearish. Remember all these clowns over the summer? Remember all this stuff? Like, oh my God, I'm bearish. Oh my God, I'm 10x leverage short. All this. No. Okay. What did they do? They were all short and they had to figure it out almost after it turned. Oh, I better jump on XRP. It's going up 400%. Okay. Now, speaking of XRP, before I get started here, notice that, what worked on the way up first time, right? It was like Stellar, Cardano, Algorand, HBAR, XRP, etc. Right? The kind of like the Made in America, Trump money network cryptos. Okay. So some of those mooned, right? And one of the things we talked about was that, you know, some of that stuff might correct. But out of that group, what I haven't talked about is who's going to be the big winner, right? Now, is everything's correcting, but which one are they dying to buy, right? Everyone keeps talking about Bitcoin and Michael Saylor, and that gets all the press, right? The equities people are all buying Ethereum, but there's two things in my mind that aren't getting any press, really. There's XRP and gold. Different forms of money. And like I said, we're about to do a government shutdown. Because, I mean, the orange man can't walk in. It can't all be beautiful. We got to have, I don't know, UFOs over malls in New Jersey. And then we got UFOs in Virginia. And then we have a ridiculous spending bill. And Elon's got to get on Twitter. They're going to fight these guys every step of the way. However, I would note that if they do this, so the more UFOs we have, the more government bills, the more ridiculous spending. Supposedly the bill went from 1,500 pages to, like, I don't know, 60. They reduced it. They put it on Ozempic, as one joke was made. All Elon has to do is get on Twitter and things change. That's it. Things change. Things change the way they want them. Right? The economy has to grow. The government cannot just suck all the money out of the economy. It can't. Right? And then that's going to bring in Powell later. But of course, the algorithms, the machines, retail bought the top. Eagle King, 1,547 pages to 116 pages. Right? Retail gets sucked in at the top. Hedge funds have to buy $6 billion. Market makers have to cover what they saw to Michael Saylor. Whack. It literally, for those guys, for those characters, it really is Christmas. Because I thought they were going to be unemployed, and I bet they did too. They may have called the Fed. I didn't think of this. Shame on me. I didn't think of this. Maybe they called the Fed and said, you know what? We're going to blow up. We're going to blow up if we can't get this crypto back. You got to help us, come out and be all grumpy so we can get some of this stuff back. Liquidate the levered people, get everybody out, let crypto Twitter change the narrative. Okay. And that's what they'll do. And they may have gotten themselves more than 2 days now. Who knows? We'll go over the charts. Okay. Kim Craig is here. Chad, welcome. Daniel, ADA on sale. We'll look at the chart. Rave Song Records is in the house. Daniel, a new member. Hello. Welcome. Okay. Justin got himself some GLD today. ADL, thoughts on GOAT. Don't let me forget. We will check it out. Bully Divs got himself a membership from Santa. Welcome. Okay. Let's go. News. Goodness. They got us. Remember what they told you. Bull markets are easy and we're lucky. Yeah, I remember. It's never easy. And I was the one saying that, and this was harder than I thought. Suck retail in at the top, moonfart coin, make everyone upset, and then drop Bitcoin. Wow. Bravo. Bravo, man. I mean, if you're going to get hosed, that's just unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Powell signals Fed's focus has returned firmly to inflation. No, Powell says whatever he has to say to make Larry Fink happy. Sorry, that's the truth. It's called regulatory capture. Excuse me. Regulatory capture. Right? The banks go, hey, we need to cover. Or, we need to get involved. Give me a little hawk. Hawkish Fed has Bitcoin feeling the most fearful in 3 months. Do you see how, perception, Powell wasn't hawkish. He just said he's not going along with the equity market Kool-Aid about 8 rate cuts. because he doesn't know what's going to happen next year. And we knew that. And he wanted to get out of Dodge, just get off the podium. So Elon didn't tweet about him. He just wanted to get out of there, right? Because he's trying to figure out probably how to keep the Fed together. Seriously. But, you know, the market doesn't get whatever it wanted. Then all of a sudden it's interpreted as hawkish. Algos read the headlines and algos sell. And they figured out how to sell again and get everyone stops. They got the stops and they're still after it, right? I mean, what happens if retail gets down 40 or 50% in these meme coins and pukes them all out on centralized exchanges? I shudder to think, because they most certainly, at least I had this part right, they got dumped on, right? These exchanges listed this stuff and they got unloaded on. Oh, it's worth $1 billion. Yeah, okay. It's only worth what the market's willing to pay you for it. Here we go. Robinhood lists meme coin BONK. It's like wading out into the water, you know, that 70s movie with the fin. Yeah. Just wading out into the ocean. The shark's out there waiting for you. Who is selling you meme coins and who is buying your Bitcoin or your Web3? SEC approves Bitcoin Ethereum crypto index ETF. Right now, this is only the beginning. This headline is relevant because they're going to start one-upping each other, right? After we get done with the dollar crazy, we're going to have like the DXY for crypto. We're going to have a basket. It's going to have like 4 or 5 big cryptos. Matter of fact, I think the next one that has the 5 I talked about, right? Because, you know, you got a Dogecoin community, you got an XRP community, you got a lot of Solana validators who probably want to dump into the ETF. You could get a lot of excitement if you had 5 big cryptos in one ETF. That could compete with IBIT. You're going to see it. You're going to see it, right? A lot of people, like, you know, it was like, well, is it going to be XRP or is it going to be Solana? And what if it's like 5 of them all at once? What if the U.S. regulatory burden were its own country? If the cost of regulatory accumulation were a country, it would have the 4th largest GDP in the world. So in other words, our regulatory structure is as big as an economy unto itself, which means if you deregulate, you get rid of all these burdens, you can perhaps, ready? Dare to be optimistic. You can grow your way out of a problem without absurd inflation, right? You unlock value, not just print money to chase goods. Unlocking value doesn't necessarily create inflation. You didn't have any inflation in the 80s or the 90s after a certain point, right? You had all this value get unlocked in the economy with the internet and Wall Street and all these things that came about. Wasn't a problem. Unlock value. Excuse me. Orange Man says, call their bluff. You know, selling it today with reckless abandon, Powell and friends laughing. The Fed goes, yeah, we're not doing the strategic Bitcoin reserve. What did you expect them to say? Really? I mean, we talked about this. So the Orange Man says, don't pass the spending bill, and whatever he wants, he's going to get, because they didn't pass it. Now, meanwhile, Powell, and they can resist. They can say, what are they going to say? Yeah, well, you know, we've really screwed this up for the last 25 years. Yeah, we should really get some electronic money because, you know, we haven't done a good job. Come on. All right. But algos, stops, you heard the deal. But Orange Man in January, right? Like, that's a month away. So everyone's like, oh my God, my coin. Oh my God, you know, everyone's like looking like this. You know, this guy takes his hand off the Bible and he's wearing an orange tie, or some venture capitalist comes out and says, we told you we're doing it, and we're doing it, right? There's nothing I like better here than disbelief, because you didn't believe him in November and they ripped the thing in your face, right? XRP went up 400%. That was your punishment for not listening. The new funding package is now 116 pages long. And you know what? If they don't like it, Elon gets on Twitter and it'll be 5 pages long by the time they pass it. So they can shut the government down, but they're not going back to 1,500 pages. Reference the Orange Man's Goodfellas haircut if there are any questions. What's the new guidance on tax reporting? Be thorough and pay. Okay. The primary job of government is to protect the people, and that includes law enforcement. Let's keep it clean, people. Let's keep it clean. You want a strategic reserve? You know what I'm saying? You want to elevate this above pump.fun or the bad stuff on pump.fun. Let's put it that way. Gee. Country down south says, we'll take anyone who's leaving. I wonder how that happened. Must have been a haircut. Again, there's plenty of evidence that they're not playing around, particularly on Web3, and they're selling that stuff. Some of that stuff's down 10% today. We looked at Sushi Swap on the stream. We looked at one particular sector and coins that we already had. So there's already videos on this in the member section. And of course, we're going to do an update. We'll let them smack it around. We'll come up with some chart points and we'll be like, yeah, man, they give you the 30% off discount. You take it. Okay. Bitcoin is still tracking money supply. So this is worth discussing. Money supply is falling out of bed. That's the white line. Why? Because rates are too high, right? There's not lending or money creation going on. Housing markets are locked. Rates are too high. So, Bitcoin normally flies when money is being printed. And then the big question is this a top? Because, it's kind of leads it by 70 days. Is Bitcoin going to be a mess? Because, rates are too high, which is why everyone was like so sensitive to the Fed, jokes aside. Now, when I look at this, I'm like, well, that could be volatility in crypto. Could be. It's also a sign that they've just completely screwed up. They've got the dollar high. They've got everyone sitting in treasury bills. They've got the Dow Jones down 10 days in a row. They're leaving the Orange Man a mess. And you could argue that's on purpose. Could Bitcoin follow this number? Well, this is followed it. But rates are too high. And they're going to figure that out one way or the other. They'll figure that out when they get a call from a bank in Virginia or Maryland because of what happens with real estate down there. That's going to happen. Okay. So in a bull market, you will have to face fear. You will have to face research that argues against what you're doing. Bitcoin could go down based on this graph. Bitcoin is going down. You probably will see this everywhere tomorrow. At the end of the day, rates are too high. The dollar is too high. And they're going to have to come down. And when they have to come down, historically, they come down hard. We're not allowed to own Bitcoin. Okay. Like we're wrecking the market over this. Really, we're wrecking the market because I think people don't want to take any risk anymore and they just want to go home. And I understand that. I guess I understand that, right? It's the holidays. It's like, you're excited, you're into it, you're intense. And then all of a sudden it feels like the party's over and you just give up and go home. Now, I don't recommend giving up. I recommend managing risk, but I do not recommend giving up. Okay. Right. All right. So Ricky said $2 billion for Pudgy Penguins was, a possible topping signal. But you know what? I thought when they brought it back down again, as they do with all these memes, they go all the way up and they go all the way down. I don't know, man. I'm all about Phygital. My partner Toby isn't, but I like this idea of people turning a brand and turning towards Web3, even if it's Pudgy Penguins. Peter Schiff, the gold guy. World central banks are starting inflation again. I don't know, Pete. Money supply is falling out of bed. I don't get it. Honestly. Okay. Gold, underrated. The market, here's a word from our podcast today for you to think about. Undervalued. What's the best reason to go in Patreon and our YouTube member area? Find out what is undervalued. How many times have you heard that in crypto? Sometimes you hear it in stocks. As one guy said, Why is everyone panicking? Everything that was undervalued 2 weeks ago is more undervalued now. They keep this up, right? They smack this into a thin holiday market. I still think you could wake up in a thin holiday market, particularly if they knock it down, and people could go, wow, this is cheap. I want it. And there may not be a seller there. I still think that's the risk. That's the risk now. And that's definitely the risk in January. Because fade the orange man and his people at your own risk. There are now 20 companies that hold 1,000 or more Bitcoin. Okay. Hut 8 mining, Bitcoin miners. Okay. They bought a lot. They're going to buy more. They're going to absolutely buy more. You got to give some credit to Michael Saylor, because when the FOMO was at its peak, even though he bought the high, he could get the liquidity at the high, right? Crypto is so small that you got to do what you got to do when you can get liquidity, especially if you're some huge player, right? So if everyone's willing to sell me Bitcoin at 100K because everybody is FOMOing into my stock, he actually did a good trade. And you know what? So did the miners, because I don't think if this thing turns over for 3 days, they would have had the kind of FOMO. Like, they got huge amounts of Bitcoin. Yeah. Did they pay 5 to 7% higher? Yeah. But could they buy all that Bitcoin in the open market? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like, you know, these guys are in a room now going, okay, once our market makers buy all their Bitcoin back, we're going right back in. Soon as these guys, we think that they're flat, or as soon as these market makers think that they're safe, right? Like, oh, the big players aren't going to buy anymore. Okay. Watch Michael Saylor wake up Christmas morning and be like, hey, Merry Christmas. Buy me $1 billion at the market. Okay. I can't believe how good this guy is. I can't. Chatalacer, welcome. Kim Craig, Santa Rally. I hope so, but it may be a lot closer to Santa coming the way this thing is trading. You know, whatever noise we're going to have, like I said, extremely bullish on Jerome Powell and the Fed. The markets will make new highs today. He does it on purpose. He really does. Like, let's call Powell. Let's call Cramer. Let's have Cramer. Let's have Powell come out and not be cooperative, and have Cramer bull post it, and we'll just hammer it. Okay, so macro analysts, the best of them, couldn't keep their hands off Fartcoin because, you know, it's the safe haven asset of the future, and they're just like, look out below. Everybody get out. Everybody get out. FRT.D. All memes down. Fartcoin up 30%. It wasn't on anybody's bingo card, and crypto is unbelievable in its ability to get the speculative sectors over their skis and then have that turn around and hit the rest of the market and have that change the narrative for the rest of the market, right? In other words, everybody at a certain point, particularly if there's a big wick down, everybody will change their mind about the market. Everyone will change their mind about next year. Everybody will like, well, I guess it was all priced in. It wasn't priced in at 102K. It's definitely not going to be priced in at 92K or 96K or whatever it is. Like Web3, the strategic Bitcoin reserve, and crypto QE is not priced in because people don't think it's going to happen. They don't think they're going to do it, or they don't think they're going to sign some executive order that gets close to it. They don't think it. That's fine. Because that is an enormous opportunity. Like, if you just got to crypto, maybe the first thing you did wasn't right. That's okay. You still, like the guy that got here from equities, right? I got here from equities. I bought XRP, and everybody is upset because it's down and I can't wait to buy more. Now, that's not exactly what he said, but that's how stock market people think. Like, all right, I'll jump in, and then, oh my God, it's down 30%. Oh my God, those people are programmed. They are programmed. Down 30%, buy everything. Right? It's actually it's down 20%, buy everything. Down 40%, sell your car and buy everything. Like, literally. Like, I remember some of these big blowouts, like, in the past, guys would be out selling assets, guys would be leaving work early, in some cases. Other cases, people got really upset. But the people who know how to play these games, they come in, they want to hodl over the next, on the podcast today, we were talking about crypto over the next 10 years. People think they got to get long and get out in the next 10 weeks, 10 days, 10 hours, 10 minutes. We have a 10-minute, 10-hour, 10-day horizon. I don't even think we have 10-day. I think we have 10 minutes and 10 hours. It should be 10 years. And if you join our member area, you can get on the 10-year mentality. Okay. Institutional flows, shifting meme dynamics. I had this morning and it scared me. I don't know what exactly this means. Pepe seeing supply consolidation at Robinhood. So 3% of the Pepe supply is at Robinhood, even though it's down 31%. Like the retail distribution phase is ending. Meaning they got 3% of the Pepe supply onto Robinhood, unloading that on retail. I mean, retail bought the high in extremely volatile instruments, right? And I talked about this, right? You can have organically 40 and 70% corrections in meme coins or worse, right? I mean, that's just what can happen, especially if you got tax loss selling. So who sold you your crypto? Who sold it to you? And then if you puke it out at the end of the year, who's taking it from you? Especially the high quality stuff. Or maybe you could say, who's buying it while you stare at it? Because people are going to stare at it if it continues to go down, right? Or if there's a big wick. That's the thing, right? It's easy to be cowboy bullish on the first dip, but what if there's a fifth dip? In 2017, the shortest correction you had was 5 days. The average correction was like 10. I don't know if that's going to be the case. That's kind of Swami crystal ball type stuff. But BlackRock and friends could only get so lucky. That's why I don't think it's 10 days. Because they absolutely have to pick it up. Because all these guys in suits know what I know, that this whole dollar charade is going to come to an end and the orange man's not playing around. That is absolutely true. They got to grow the economy. Like, are you watching what's going on with the stock? Let's go to stock market. So like interrupt this broadcast for live TA because I think we did some of this last night, but we'll do it again. Okay. Dow Jones Industrial Average, your grandpa's stocks. Down only. Down only. Closing on the low. Look at this. Look at this. Just totally throwing in the towel. You know who's looking at this? The orange man. The orange man. He's like, well, wait a minute. His job is not necessarily to make capital markets go up, but we want growth, right? We want optimism, right? We don't necessarily want this right out of the gate with $36 trillion in debt. Now, Mr. Market may have a different idea, but he's going to sit around and go, okay, what can we do about this? That's what I would do. Be like, okay, this is a mess. Powell left us a wreck. What are we going to do? What's easy? What can we get on the tape and say, what can I sign? What can we do? Right? This picture, like if the orange man, if you're out there or if any of his people see this, yeah, folks, there's one answer to this. It's called Bitcoin. It really is. This is unbelievable. Look at this. Hong Kong accelerates crypto exchange licensing with 4 new approvals. Okay. So, okay, I get it. Markets don't move straight in one direction, but what happens when these characters show up? I mean, they're just going to be falling all over themselves. Where do you see crypto Twitter in the morning? It's like, oh my God, it's like, it's just everything is blowing up. What's happening? The Chinese are behind the curve on this. It's like Toby Ward said, it's like the space race, right? We're the ones who put Bitcoin and XRP in orbit. They're wondering, who are we going to put in orbit, or what are we going to do that's special or different? We got any Chinese cryptos? We got any South Korean cryptos? We got any Japanese cryptos? I mean, seriously, this is like worth looking at. Do we have projects located that are specific to countries? Like, you know, the organic buyer of Ethereum should be the Swiss National Bank. They're a stock market hedge fund. Why aren't they helping Vitalik out? I mean, again, Powell says we can't do Bitcoin. You're right. Central banks cannot do Bitcoin. But you can do the ETF, and they will do the ETF. Everybody's going to do the ETF. They're going to do a 20% allocation. As I said the other night, BlackRock only wants you to have 2% in the Bitcoin ETF. That's because if they said 20%, it's like this thing would just go insane. So everyone was talking about a 200K target at the top. And the next thing you'll hear on the next market update will be all the news headlines with everyone talking about 88. Corrections happen. Okay. They got me on this one. Good for them. I'll be back. Because everyone thinks the orange man taking his hand off the Bible is a sell the fact event. They're going to be in for a rude awakening because they're doing sell the fact now. I'm like, oh my God, you guys got no faith at all. You're doing sell the fact now? Okay. Extremely inconvenient at the holiday season, but okay. Right? Do what you have to do. We'll come visit in January. Look at this. Ark Investment sells $4 million worth of Coinbase amid price drop. Oh my God. I have a 10 million target for Bitcoin, but oh my God, get us out of Coinbase. Mind you, she sold NVIDIA. NVIDIA increased its market cap by like $1 trillion after she sold. It's like she was like the biggest insane hodler of every single vaporware tech stock right up until Powell started tightening. They all went to zero. Now, every time something goes up, she sells. She did do a great trade in Tesla, though. She did do a great trade in Tesla. I'm not going to lie. Okay. But cheating out of Coinbase stock, unless she knows something that we don't, I don't know, man. People want to go home. Like it's a legacy thing. They just want to go home. I can feel it. They're done. Right. But you're never done in crypto. There is no done. Like the Eagle King is like, yo, dude, we're going live, right? No one's done. No one, not in crypto. No way. No way. Okay. Now, a further explanation as to what's going on. This is the guy who helped get me my first job in the business. Second job, actually. If the bond market loses faith in the Fed's ability to fight inflation, investors will flee, sending bond yields up. Yes, that means bond investors might lose money. Okay. Restated. Okay. Those higher interest rates can do far more damage to everything else. The gold, stock, alternatives, and crypto markets cannot destroy the bond market. However, the bond market can destroy stock, gold, alternatives, and crypto. Okay. So as you've heard from me on the show, higher interest rates and higher dollar are toxic for altcoins and speculative assets. And that's what happened yesterday. And of course, to put the cherry on top of the banana split, we have excessive speculation in Fartcoin with retail buying the top of every other meme coin. So let's moon Fartcoin, make everyone upset, and drop the rest of the market on their head. Wow. Right. Combined with the macro guys giving you the bond dollar speech, the woo. You know, and that stuff is scary, right? Because that makes guys pull back. That makes short sellers more aggressive. So great trade on the part of these guys. Really, really excellent work by Jerome Powell and friends. Hats off to you. Right. But just like August, right? Like, remember how I was saying, it's so painful. Everyone in Patreon was like, every single day, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't get bearish, because if you get bearish and you get short, you might make money in the short term. If you trade for a living, this is not the conversation, right? But if you're like trying to make life-changing money to quit your job in crypto and you get bearish and try to get short every time the market goes down, you might make money being short. But then when it turns and goes up 400% in a month, you won't be there. That's why the Schwab thing, ignore the noise. Say what you want about them, but that's why that's so relevant, right? That's why that's so relevant. Okay, no more cowboy hats. I got rid of the cowboy hat 2 weeks ago. I kept the cowboy hat on pre-100K, but I took that off because I knew they might be sneaky. VIX's second largest spike in history. So again, Powell didn't give them what they want, and they lost their mind. The fear index on equities went up like you were having a black swan event. It's unbelievable. Now, yeah, there's going to be dramatically lower economic growth when they reduce government spending, and everyone knows that. And that's going to produce lower interest rates, and everyone seems to know that except Jerome Powell and whoever's buying the dollar in the foreign exchange market. But again, you know, I smell a coordinated attempt to defend the currency, which, you know, that is the mandate of the Fed, believe it or not. The mandate of the Fed is to fight inflation and defend the currency. They obviously have a major problem with the first part, but they actually did defend the currency. Yeah, you have to give them that. Crypto may see harrowing dump after Trump's inauguration. Well, this guy sure jinxed it, right? They're doing a harrowing dump now. They're doing it now. Like, I was like, all right, yeah, maybe if they price it all in and take it up to 120, but they don't want to do that, or they can't do that. So I don't know. Maybe this was an example where I got told and I missed it. Christmas tree funding bill in Congress includes gifts for the crypto industry. You know, I read this, something about the Commerce Secretary advising somebody. Didn't feel like a gift to me. It really didn't. GOP strikes new spending deal, includes disaster aid. You know, it's amazing that the one or two things that are necessary get passed along with 1,500 pages of whatever. Like, we're passing disaster relief now. The disaster was 3 months ago. Do sovereigns have your interest at heart? It's very easy to forget that on a down day. It is. Do they have your interest at heart? Call their bluff. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's too bad they don't have like a call their bluff crypto wallet, you know, where you can manage your stops, but maybe there's a part of that where, you know, they really smack this thing. You can move in like, you know, as like a, I don't know, dare I say, like active portfolio management. Like, if they take a bunch of these sectors and they knock them down 30%, boom, you can get involved. Publicly traded HUD 8 buys 100 million Bitcoin. Okay. So I had this, and you know, it's always good to watch a show where an analyst will look at something and go, yeah, this is what I missed, right? So notice here, right? We have clapping, we have confetti, we have the PR agent in a nice suit out front. Way too much cheering. I looked at it and I was like, oh. All right. You know, they borrowed money against the stock at the top, but confetti and fart coin, that's it, right? Done. Confetti, fart coin, and Powell, whack. That's it. And you know what? The big players, that's what they wanted, because they got to get it. They got to get it before somebody steps up to the podium in DC. Because when they step up to the podium in DC and they want Web3, particularly with the stock market going down, believe me, they're coming after it. Keep in mind, the Orange Man was at the podium with a CEO who was investing $100 billion in the United States. And the Orange Man is up there trying to get him to do 200, like he's on Shark Tank. Like, they're going to do this. They're going to put this in motion one way or the other. And you can sell now because you don't want to take any more risk or because you made a lot of money. Okay. Frequently, everyone gets off the big trade right before it's going to work. Have you ever heard this? That people, and I have felt this personally at many areas, at many times. I felt it before the election. You know the definition of like the big turn, like the big turn. Do you know where your head is at the big turn? It's not sitting there going, oh, here comes the big turn. No, you want to quit right before the big turn. It literally is darkest before dawn. Okay, so this, maybe we have to purge that out of the market. I don't know. Okay. Chatelacer, Spectral AI. I will take a look at it. Okay. Marathon, everybody buying, right? Orange Man says, prepare to get tariffed. Okay. If he says it, he means it. Bitcoin market cap reaches new all-time high against gold. You know, that could be the problem. I would love a gold rally. I would love it. Even if it meant Bitcoin went down for 10 days, I would love a gold rally because it's all the same thing. And I keep saying that. Okay. But no one's hearing that today. So let's go and let's do some live TA. Let me see what I got on Spectre AI. You know, I know there's a couple of these that we really like, right? There's Spectral AI. There's OLAS. Wow, look at this wick. Whew. All right. So on a lot of tactical charts, I don't know. Let's bring up the 4 hour. Let's see if it's there. Okay. So Spectral AI did not get to its discount zone on the 4 hour chart. That's 229. LuxAlgo is putting resistance above the market. So 408 is what it has to get above. So beware the failed rally. But if you do look at a lot of like the shorter term charts, just saying that, you know, they hit this thing really good today. You know, this thing was up at the premium zone on the 11th. It started a slump and then boom, right? It got down here to the premium zone. And you can see them all packing it in at a tactical level. They made their money on the upside and they want to go home. You know what? I don't have a problem with patience at this point. Like maybe you get it at 229. Maybe they wash out December. I mean, I'm not, you know, I'm not in some huge hurry. I don't think you have to be in a huge hurry. You know, but like, you know, there are guys in Patreon that like, you know, when it will go down like this, they'll start a DCA, right? So in other words, if it goes down and then it goes down again, a little more and then a little more and then a little more. And then eventually you wake up and you're in a thin holiday market or the orange man is on the tape, whichever one. Okay. PowerPoint is making a very distinct comeback. This has got to be the first day in a long time I've had to do PowerPoint like twice. So FRAT.D, Fartcoin Dominance. I mean, this is like a museum piece of like how the crypto market somehow figures out how to blow itself up. You have retail buying the top of everything on the left: Peanut, Goat, Mudang, Flog, Chill Guy, Michi, right? All blue chip meme coins, right? Listed on centralized exchanges. So hedge funds and whales can unload. Meanwhile, nobody's long fart because everyone thinks it's ridiculous. And the more they protest in legacy, the more PR it gets. The more PR it gets. What does a meme coin feed on? Attention. The more attention it gets, the higher it goes. So the algos moon the thing that they don't own and annihilate the stuff that they do. I mean, this is not like, I don't know. This is not like big traders versus retail anymore. This is like algos, hedge funds, BlackRock. There's a lot of sophisticated stuff going on here. Like this is a recipe for P&L destruction. It's like, hi, welcome to crypto. Whoop, 30% haircut. It's probably going to be a lot of people chasing Fartcoin at 1.5 billion or whatever it gets to before that maybe gets dropped and corrects or wicks down. Just be careful out there. Pepe should have known, right? big new high, retail gets in, momentum indicator makes a lower high, and then when it turns, it kind of breaks a little, you know? They sucked everyone into this. It does not, we're not picking on Pepe. They sucked everybody in. And if it goes back down here and they unwind all this, that's what bothers me, right? This is like everybody, this is not diamond hands people. This is not the diamond hands. So who sold you your crypto up here and who's going to take your crypto from you down here? Okay, Bitcoin dominance. So altcoins do great. So altcoins were going to 0 up here. This was Bitcoin dominance at 62. Web3 forever. I might have been guilty of that. Altcoins correct. ETH comes off hard. Solana never rallied. Okay, so whatever happens at 59 in Bitcoin dominance probably determines what happens over the next 10 days, right? If Bitcoin dominance does something like go through 60 or 59, okay, then you bought yourself 10 days of blah. You know, a higher dollar is not good for any altcoin. Bitcoin will sustain because Bitcoin is like a large cap stock now. You know, but if Bitcoin continues to outperform because the dollar is too high, that's toxic for the market. Look at DXY. Oh my God, it's a 90-minute chart. Look at it making a new high right before the stream. They can't get enough. I mean, this and Farcoin were not on my bingo card. Like, not. The only good news here is that you've got the LuxAlgo 5-wave top going on, and there's just some kind of hope that people realize that they're going to shut the government down. They're buying the currency with reckless abandon because of an allegedly hawkish Fed in the middle of a government shutdown. I mean, again, it feels like an orchestrated thing to defend the currency, but how much of that can they do? Maybe I shouldn't ask myself this. This was my attempt at like drawing a parallel between all the big long-term tops in the dollar before they had to like ram it up just to make sure that, you know, I still was okay with this. I'm still questioning this. Okay. Bitcoin, believe it or not, did not get to its discount zone today. It did not. The discount zone in Bitcoin on a 4-hour chart is 90K. You know, like if you draw a 4-hour chart, the market can go down more. Most of the time, the market is like at a balance area. Maybe it sits here. Maybe that's the annoying holiday trade. Now, if you ever got Bitcoin at its discount zone on like a 4-hour chart, oh my God. Like I don't even know you can get that lucky. How do the guys that sold Michael Saylor all that Bitcoin at 100 get that lucky? But, you know, altcoins, Solana, which never went up, went to its discount zone on a 4-hour chart. It's really hard to be negative about Solana below like 190. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, it never went up and they hit it for you. Like the phone's coming out in March. You know, ETH, 4,000 back to the discount zone, right? I mean, this was the ETH went back to where it was at the start of the Thanksgiving rally. I thought XRP saved ETH. Guess not. But again, like, wow, you really going to get negative at this level? XRP didn't get to its discount zone. So I guess we're going to find out, right? Like, if it couldn't get to its discount zone, what does that mean? Does that mean it's like showing signs of extreme strength and telling you something? Or is it just next up in line at the woodshed? All I know is that discount zone is just underneath $2. It might be worth the wait to see if they're actually going to hit it down there. I mean, the guy on the stream that bought XRP at 1 is probably sitting there going, God, do you think they're going to get, I think I'm going to be able to get more at 2? And everybody's going to be like, oh my God, sell it. I'm stopping out of my 50X levered long or whatever. That guy's like, dude, please bring it down there. I mean, I have a hard time seeing it, but they have an illiquid market to mess with. And if you ever saw that, man, like legends are made buying in these types of markets where it's clearly bullish, but you have like a positioning based liquidation. People get levered, Fed chairman, macro thing out of nowhere, excessive speculation. Every reason for it to go up is a reason for it to go up for 10 years. Every reason for it to go down is a reason for it to go down for 10 hours or 10 days. I'm sorry. I mean, that's just the way I feel about it. I mean, tell me it's a top in crypto with the Goodfellas haircut. No way. No way. Not with $36 trillion in debt. No way. Cardano. Okay. So not really excited about this. Like in some ways, Cardano has completed a correction. That's one way to look at it. A, B, C. Went to its discount zone. No big reason to sell. This does look like a head and shoulders top. That's not good. Okay. Now, here's how I'm interpreting this. You had XRP, Cardano, Hedera, Algorand, and Stellar all moon hard off the election. Of those 5, which one's the winner? Feel free to comment. Feel free to comment. Who's the winner out of those 5? Who's got the most upside? Okay, well, being a YouTuber, I'm sure you'll be shocked that I'm going to go with XRP because XRP is money. Now, even though Cardano doesn't look good, everyone's already forgotten who is going to be advising the orange man once he gets in office. Everyone's forgotten about this. Like there's going to be a circle the wagons on crypto, particularly if they hit it during the holidays. What do guys with Goodfellas haircuts want? This is true. You can look it up. They used to give out turkeys. They wanted the people on their side, right? Chicago, New York. You know what I'm talking about. The guys with the Goodfellas haircuts. They wanted, my history professor said they wanted a chicken in every pot. They wanted people happy. And the orange man's going to look at all his selling at Christmas and he's going to be like, oh no, man. Oh no. Oh no. No. Right. We got to do something about this. The last thing they need on the way in with the enemies that they've already got is some sort of economic confidence crisis. Okay. So they can sell now, and I don't blame people for taking their money if they got bills to pay. But the long-term mentality, it's not an excuse for bad risk management because bad stuff does happen. I know that. So do you. We know that. But good things can also happen too. And you can also have life-changing money over years. And if you wind up jeeting out of a portfolio because of a 3-day decline, because you have what I call FTX PTSD, you're making a mistake. So if this bearish formation in Cardano isn't bearish, if the discount level holds, God, that would be awesome, right? If you invalidated a bearish formation, yes, I can draw this. It's negative, blah, 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 blah. Let's see if the market can turn itself in a couple of days. Polkadot. Hey, back in the day, I bought Polkadot at 7. Let me tell you, grandson, I got Polkadot at 7. Grandson's like, legend. It's amazing how the tech part of crypto is abandoned so quickly, right? It's like, oh, wait, I got to get out, down. I don't want it because I want Farcoin, down. It's incredible, right? Now, I hope Farcoin goes to 5 billion because at least that way you'll have just one meme coin we have to worry about charting, not 27. We can just have, Fartcoin be like its own sector. But, you may remember the day when everyone was chasing that and abandoning everything else. Not that we wish our friends doing Fartcoin any harm, because frankly, they all look like total geniuses today. Chainlink. Orange man buys. Everyone gaps it up right into resistance. God, LuxAlgo. Like they did the 5-wave top, but then they ramped it one more time. Oh, tough, right? Right into the premium zone. You're like, oh my God, am I going to miss? It's going to go to 50. Boom, they drop it back to equilibrium, right? They took out the bottom of the 4-wave. So you may sit down here for a while. Now, I'm not really seeing a case for Chainlink to go back to 10, but it is a normal correction. In other words, what is the good news in the market? The good news in the market is I think you're constructive long-term, and it's not up only. I know everyone wants up only. Actually, you don't. Go back to the comment that the stock guy made. It's like, yo, dude, you got to love these dips, right? That means there's still disbelief out there, right? If we're doing sell the inauguration a month early, wow. Again, not on my bingo card, but, you know, that's really bullish because that means, you know, come then, who's the seller, right? Who's going to be the seller if these guys come in with positive, you know, like these guys like Michael Saylor and BlackRock, and these guys start coming back in again. When you have positive catalysts and they don't have the Jerome Powell dipsy do trick to get it back. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, when you have these like terrible FTX experiences, just like with 2008, for the first 3 years, all anybody remembers is the terrible experiences, right? So 22, everybody thought it was terrible. 23, everyone thought it was terrible. 24, everyone thinks it's terrible every time it goes down, right? People may still think that in 25. But at some point, you miss the dips because you can't get involved. Like they shake you out, then they don't let you in. I mean, people who have done multi-year trends and not gotten it necessarily right, because it's not easy to get them exactly right, they want after this. And if you look at the speed, like, you know, Chainlink takes the stairs up and the elevator down. Man, are they quick to get out of this thing? You know that they're levered is when you get stuff like this. Like the greed impulse to take advantage of quick money is so strong that when they blow that out, it just goes straight down. And then they change the narrative around the price action, which I'm discouraging you from doing. And that's the market update. Okay. You know, one of the things that's kind of funny is the orange man said, you know, kind of the problem that I'm having is everyone wants to be my friend now. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to be my friend. You know, the orange man likes to fight. Okay. Let's have a government shutdown. Let's have a little check to see if I mean business. You know, fading that guy has not turned out good. Now, I understand Curve got smacked today. Not only do we have people who are bearish their own projects, okay, but I understand there's some like almost like a liquidation event going on here with the head of the project. Okay. So that was the previous high. So, you know, there were stops underneath there. You know, you had some pretty extreme FOMO. Share the screen. Sorry. So this was the prior high. That's where all the stops were. Notice, again, this kind of goes back to LuxAlgo. The thing I don't spend enough time selling because I almost don't have to. Really, this thing was paying more attention to the equilibrium zone, which is where it kind of gravitated back to. So they ran the stops after extreme FOMO on ETH DeFi. You know, ETH-based DeFi is still going to have an institutional component coming into it. So Synthetix, right? runs the stops at the equilibrium zone. Clever. Clever. Right to the 62% retracement at 2.1. I mean, that makes me want to buy Synthetix right now. I mean, they made a base and they came back and they kind of pressed maybe on the top of the base. I mean, Synthetix, let's do it this way. Synthetix is back to a level where it was in June of this year. So it's the year in review in crypto. What has happened in Synthetix? Nothing. Nothing. I mean, yeah, Synthetix went down a lot earlier in the year, but basically Synthetix is exactly where it was well before the election. You know what I'm saying? So they took it up. Everyone got really levered and FOMO'd in, and then they dropped it. You know, it goes back to this. This is so appropriate. Remember when they told you it was easy and we were all just lucky? People, there's no such thing as a free lunch. I know that, you know, this market is very volatile. I have made mistakes. I get it. But you can't let this get you off your game. Wow. Like render. Whew. Let's see what they're doing here. I mean, you know, this feels, it kind of feels like the price action's like, it's like vicious, you know, like wherever the level is, it feels like they've got a probe and they know where the stops are. I mean, I know that sounds nuts, but it's like, you know, this was a prior high in the equilibrium zone. So render, they just, you know, whoosh, they just take out the stops. Right. And the question is, after they take out the stops, where does it leave the market? Where does it leave the market? Right at the 62% retracement. And this brings me back to my Oh Hey Maddie stream. Me and my old boss, right? On with Oh Hey Maddie on a Sunday night. He's like, you know, he says, the 62% retracement is like the big retracement in crypto. Man, have I made a living with that. 62% retracement in render, 7.06. No one wanted it at 4. It was much more attractive at 12. And now at 7, I'll do it later. You know, they're giving it to you. They're giving it to you here. Super. And we could probably sit here and do this all day. Coinbase coins. Okay, so extreme FOMO. I mean, this has room to get back to equilibrium and could go as deep as $1.13. Maybe. I mean, you know, I talk about people packing it in. So they packed it in June and excessively FOMO'd in October. And then this was, I would call that distribution, right? When it goes from 40 cents to $2, you trade on Coinbase, it's probably distribution, right? It's people FOMOing in to whatever is on Coinbase. It broke out, but again, it is coming back to just simply retest a prior high area. And, you know, if you get too caught up in wicks and things like that, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not necessarily a when in doubt, zoom out. It literally is ignore the noise. Like they can hit this. They can try and make you upset, right? But all of Hong Kong is coming. You know, maybe you should get a screensaver and look at a picture of Hong Kong, right? Can you imagine what happens when Hong Kong gets involved in this? I always marveled, okay, at what Hong Kong looked like. Okay, it looked like New York City, all of New York City, jammed into Central Park. You know what I'm saying? Like all of it. It's like a jungle and skyscrapers all at the same time. And these guys are coming to crypto. For once, I can maybe do this. Right? I used to, like, I ate fish and chips, or I would go somewhere and there would be these like outdoor views of what this place looked like. And they can't open crypto exchanges fast enough. Right? Hong Kong in the year 3000. I don't think I've ever done this on the air, like do like chat GBT prompts and things like that. These guys come to crypto. You walk by one of these buildings, like these little people here, and they look out and like, they're going to hit the green button inside these things. The Chinese are going to make hedge funds, and they're just like this over here. This is Hong Kong. They're coming. Right? But, you know, let's get rid of our Synthetix, man. We don't want that. Get that out of here. That's got cooties. You have to sort of laugh, right? Okay, Maker. Yo, man, ETH DeFi. Where you at? You know, if ETH can't go up, this is the stuff that will. Right? Like the happiest people in the world are the ones that are like, oh God, this went down. Thank God. Now, if you have a position, it sucks. And I get that. 62% in Maker is just below the market at 1,500. So LuxAlgo's making resistance and support is just beneath. You might get lucky. You know, there may be, this market may have like a wick to it. I still think the best chart is the picture of Hong Kong, but we have to trade. We have to manage risk. I can't be a complete moon boy. Actually, I can be, because I was all summer. You know, in Hedera, like the juicy level is like 25 cents. Because, you know, maybe when I look at the Hedera chart, I'm sharing the screen. Okay, when I look at the Hedera chart, this is what comes to mind. If they got some of the stops, are they going to get all of the stops? All of them, right? Are they going to, you know, are they going to do this until they get everybody? The answer to that could be yes. They have the advantage, right? The Bulls have had them on the run. Michael Saylor's been trying to run them out of Dodge for a month and a half. Now they're like, okay, now let's get back to equilibrium. Now let's press them. This is the conflict between the Bulls and the Bears, right? Particularly when the Bears can be forced to be short by gigabuyers. They know with $36 trillion in debt and with the way the stock market is already behaving, the warning signals of currency problems are there. And it is going to be a wacky 2025 per the podcast in the member area, which, excuse me, for all the talking that I do, you got to listen to the other analyst in that podcast. Not just the other analyst, but probably one of the better analysts, if not the best sector analyst in crypto, right? It's going to be crazy next year. And you're going to have to, learn how to deal with this kind of volatility. It's not easy, but you're going to learn. I don't know anything about crypto. Well, guess what? You just learned something, right? They pull you in with memes. They pull the capital to Fartcoin. They short the memes that they sold to retail. BlackRock calls Powell. They smack the market, and BlackRock gets your Bitcoin. Congratulations. You've passed Crypto 101. I didn't even see that, but it happened. Now, I'm asking myself, what else am I not seeing? Well, I mean, I don't know. What about one more dip in Stellar, Hedera, maybe even XRP. Maybe we get lucky, right? Maybe we get lucky. Algorand. Okay, so Algorand on a 4-hour chart. You know, it's funny. They couldn't get out of it fast enough. Really. Like people who are bag holders in this, you know, I suppose you could understand that if someone held it for a long time, you could hear the collective sigh of relief because, oh, now I can get out. Okay, well, I understand that, but LuxAlgo is painting a slightly different picture. You know, they really, really smacked this thing. Like they took all of the post-Thanksgiving FOMO out of this, and they did it kind of in a gradual, painful kind of way. So, you know, there's a case for some things to dip, and there's a case that other things are done, right? I know that we all want to buy the exact low. I know that. But I don't know if you can know the exact low, and I don't know if you need to, if somewhere between now and the end of the year is a multi-year uptrend type of trade. Now, Sui wasn't down this morning. This is another example of them running away from an even number. Like, I'm pretty sure they're very aware that the old high in Sui was roughly $4. Okay. Now, Sui has 10x'd. You have to ask yourself, Sui or Solana? A lot of people would have picked Solana back in the day. Now they would probably pick Sui. The simple fact of the matter is they bought it at the previous high at the equilibrium zone. So until proven wrong, don't mess with this thing because, you know, they want to run everybody's stops, but I don't think they don't seem to be getting anybody's stops here. So this is another point. Well, actually, I'm not going to make this point. We made this point in the podcast. You have to watch the podcast. Okay. Ski Mask Dog. So we did cover this on the podcast. Strongly recommend watching it. Now, not surprisingly, they went looking for your stops. They went looking for your stops. Right? This is what this is, folks. This is a stop hunt. This is a stop hunt. Because that's how bigger players can get liquidity. Like if you can force a lot of smaller players to sell all at once, like we're essentially doing a clinic here on how to run the stop losses, right? Look what they did. They got to the 62% retracement of like the big part of the move up to the number. So they went to the 38% retracement at 23 cents. They ran the stops. They took it exactly down to 62% at 16 cents. Like this, I don't know. They can chop this around for a while, but what are they going to do to this that they haven't done already? Like, you know, this is like one of the few things that like, you know, like Algorand, like anything that they've already kind of smacked feels done to me. I don't know what they did. What did they do to virtual today? See, the 62% retracement of the last run up was at 216, 213. I did it this morning. 213. Like they would just, you know, Like, I don't know if that's a perfect fib retracement. Like it's 38, it's 62% of the small move and 38% of the big move. I mean, you think these guys or the machines or whoever don't know where these levels are and don't know where the stops are? Oh yeah, folks, they know exactly. They know exactly where the stops are. Exactly. Okay, PEAQ. Okay, this is a Solana coin. I don't know, 0.098 is where the 62% retracement is. Let me just go to TradingView to make sure that I've got the right thing here. Okay, so I like this chart better. So if we look at this on KuCoin, right? They took it below the 38% retracement at 53 cents. I don't think I had the right instrument on that other chart. 53 cents on KuCoin is the 38% retracement. They took it. Look what they did. You see this? See how they stop everyone out? Twice. 3 times. 1, 2, 3. They're still after it. So whatever this is, people want it. Because they've been trying to get everybody out like for 3 days. Push, 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 push. You know, they can do this in the whole market. They can do this in the whole market for a couple of days. And if they don't get everybody out, that's it. I mean, they're going to be running in fear of whoever wants to mess with the orange man, because he's got to get out of $36 trillion in debt. You know, the orange man has had debt problems. He's dealt with debt problems before, personally, like professionally. I mean, I know I keep saying it, but I know when they made World Liberty Financial and World Liberty Financial started buying DeFi, you know, that got everything going on the upside, and then they corrected it. But the reasons that they bought the DeFi are still valid. Okay, so I'm sure people are frustrated with DGen. It did take out a key chart point. You know, this goes down, it dies, and now I honestly don't know. Maybe it's as simple as this. I say when it comes to anything social related, try to give it a chance. If you bought the top, manage risk and do what you have to do to remain sane so you don't do anything stupid. However, I will remind you that in like a formation like this, or, oh God, you know, if it's this, it could be very powerful. I don't know, man. Let's just give peace a chance when it comes to DGen. Okay. Long stream. What? BLZ. Coinbase. Discount zone. Multiple LuxAlgo reversal signals. I don't know. Awful tough if you bought it up top, but unless there's something fundamentally wrong with it, it feels like Christmas to me. It really does. Unless something terrible happened. But again, if you do the value investing thing, it's right there. You know, for more coins like this, you know, for more things that we're just looking to hunt, for the sector we're looking at in the podcast, you got to jump in. right? Because, you know, I know when this was going up, you were like, oh my God, it's going to go without me. And I know you thought that back in March. We all did. We were like, oh my God, this thing's going to go 2021. It happened twice, and now they're going to give you a dip. So if they gave you a 8-month dip, maybe they give you an 8-day dip, because everything's going to be accelerated because of the guy who wants it to go up. So if you survived 8 months, can you survive 8 days? Whether the answer is yes or no, I think you should try the QR code. Magic Trout says fart coin to the moon. Dude, I hope you're right. I know a guy who's in this, and I hope it's crypto retirement for him. He's been bull posting it. God bless him. You know what I'm saying? Winner take all economics. I never would have saw Fartcoin and Jerome Powell together. I hats off to him. But this is an opportunity to get involved. It is. Even if you don't feel good now, you know, sometimes you got to take short-term pain to get the long-term gain. And it's easy to buy stuff when it goes up. It's easy, right? But as we said in this post, thank God I don't have to say it, because I know it's, it's an old guy and it's not a fancy studio. I get it. But when the guy from Zero Hedge is telling you this, either he watches the show, which if he does, thank you, or he knows too. Because he did the whole equities thing, and he knows, and he knew what that looked like in the beginning, the middle, and the end. In the end, it was up only and life-changing money. In the beginning, you got seasick. Friends, we're still going to be around, but I want to wish you a happy holiday season. I want you to hug your loved ones. I don't want you to puke out your entire crypto portfolio. Talk to your accountant. Do what you have to do. Get yourself a membership. Get yourself an emoji. We're adding another emoji tonight. So if you want to witness our emoji skills, please come on in. That's $4, right? Patreon is in the middle, and the top thing is the VIP, which is half or less of what most people charge. So cross-chain, what narrative is next? Oh, did I just slip? We'll see you next time.